Well then, folks, as I'm sure a lot of you have already seen, this weekend I won the Football Manager Streamer Showdown for the 5th time out of 7 attempts. 5 times out of 9 showdowns that they've ever been. And in this video, we're going to talk about how I did it. Hello folks, and welcome to something a little bit different, something I've not really done before on the channel. I mentioned when I did my first ever Streamer Showdown preview video that came out over the weekend that I was going to try and include YouTube a little bit more in the showdown stuff this time round, and this is very much a part of that. I'm not going to be showing you any highlights or clips or anything off of the Twitch stuff in this video. If that's what you're here expecting to see, it's not going to be here. Full disclosure, there was about 10 hours of streaming just on my channel between Thursday, Saturday and Sunday across the 3 days of the showdown. I don't have the time, the resources, the skill, the ability to go through and turn that into a coherent video. So I thought rather than doing that, I'll talk about it. I'll show you the save. I'll give you my thoughts on why I won again. And if you want to go back and watch it and test my theories for yourself, the VODs are all over there on Twitch, twitch.tv/LOLLUJO. And as ever, make sure you're also following the Streamer Showdown account itself at FM. It's twitch.tv/FM Streamer Showdown. Make sure you follow that one. You can watch the lowdown VODs on there. If you've never seen my YouTube stuff before and you're just here because you watched the showdown and then you saw this video, make sure you subscribe, turn your notifications on, all that kind of stuff. I do daily Football Manager videos, and I am really on a push at the moment to try and get to 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube as well. So it would be very nice if we could push towards that. So I've got the save file in front of me, and we're going to have a little look through what went well. Why did it work? Why did we end up winning? And I think the best place to start with that is with the squad itself, because I think this tells most of the story. Just looking at this screen, I said when I made the preview video that my goal when drafting a squad for the Streamer Showdown is exactly that. I want to draft a squad, not a team. I did not have the best 11. If we were only playing first 11s, I wouldn't have made it past the quarterfinals. And I knew it. And I gambled on the fact that there's always going to be injuries. There's always going to be suspensions. When you're playing every Saturday, Wednesday, all the way through, you don't have much in the way of training and coaching stuff going on. And you get a suspension for every 3 yellow cards, and a 3-game suspension I had at one point for Zaniolo for a straight red. There's always going to need to be rotation going on. And if you have a look through my squad of 18, every single one of my 18 players had time on the pitch. My backup goalkeeper only came on as a substitute once, and that was outfield because I had so many injuries and suspensions in that game. He was the only fit body that I had at the club, so he had to come on and play as an inside forward. But everybody did get some game time, and only 2 players played every game. Donnarumma, who was an absolute superstar for me in goal, averaging a 7.11 and actually scoring a goal as well, and Marcus Rashford, my top scorer, 11 goals from 14 games. These were probably 2 of my more expensive players. I think Rashford was 44 million. Donnarumma was maybe 30 million as a goalkeeper. Van Dijk, who started all but 1 game, he only missed a game through suspension. Likewise, John Stones, Jordan Henderson, Ferland Mendy, all of them only missed games when they were suspended. That's where the rest of the big money went, really. Van Dijk's in the 60 million bracket. I think Henderson is close to 50 million. But from there, the rest of it was pretty much budget options. Looking down through the rest of the squad, I think Martinez maybe 30 million. I am a little bit disappointed with Lautaro Martinez. He didn't fit into my system the way I hoped he would. I mean, we still won the thing, but only scoring 3 goals. Only getting 3 goals from an XG of 4.7 as well is a really disappointing performance from someone who I put a lot of hopes on. I picked him ahead of Jamie Vardy. I don't know that I would again. And he lost his place to Belotti as the tournament went on, as Belotti got fit. Belotti would have been in a lot sooner. But as you can see, only started 3 games because he spent a lot of the group stages out with an injury. But going through the rest of the squad, budget, they're largely budget. I think Grealish might be in the 40 millions, but Trent's only 28 million this time round. Zaniolo, Pellegrini, Ramsey, these are all 15 million pound players. Saul might have been in the 30 to 40 million range. Castagna was a real key player, being able to have a backup, right back, left midfielder, left midfielder, and him covering them all allowed me to have an extra midfield player in the squad. And even the likes of Belotti, Pedro, Romagnoli, who didn't start a lot of games, all made valuable contributions. Pedro coming off the bench 9 times, getting himself a couple of goals. Belotti off the bench 7 times. He got 3 goals. Everybody contributed. And that is really, really important. If we sort it by goal scorers, you can see that half of the squad weighed in with a goal. And 11 for Rashford is our top scorer. You can see how important the set pieces were when Van Dijk and Stones both getting 4 goals apiece as well. The strikers were both pretty disappointing, but Rashford more than made up for that, ruining everybody, coming in off the left-hand side as an inside forward. And if we sort by assists, again, it's probably going to lean towards set pieces being a key assist. Ferland Mendy was a monster with his long throws coming in from the left-hand side. Zaniolo's just quality. He wasn't taking set pieces, but Grealish, Pellegrini, Ramsey, Trent, Sowell were all taking corners. I mean, again, you can see assists going all the way down to the bottom here. Only 5 players in the squad who didn't get an assist, and only 2 players in the entire squad who didn't have a goal contribution, and one of them was my backup goalkeeper. Alessio Romagnoli, the only player in the squad without a goal contribution during what is only a 14-game tournament, shows just how deep this squad went. So if we have a look at the tournament, for those of you who haven't watched any of it, just to show you how it went, the structure of it, it starts off on the Saturday with a league stage, and then Sunday was a knockout, and the winner of the tournament is the team that wins the knockout stage. And the league stage went exactly as planned for me. I don't want to win the league because I always have a theory that if you win the league, you don't really want to play the winner of this playoff, because the way it works, first plays the winner of this 8th, 9th playoff, second place 7th, third place 6th, fourth place 5th. I always feel that, yeah, if you finish first, it's nice to play against one of the 2 teams that finished in the bottom 2. They play in a playoff before the Sunday night games kick off. But they're coming off the back of a win because they've won the playoff to get through. So actually, their morale coming off the back of a win in what is a big game, it's a playoff game, their morale is going to be boosted and higher than the teams that finish in 7th and 6th, who probably haven't just come off the back of a win. So my theory is I'm better off facing one of these teams who are more likely to have lost their last couple of games, than playing one of these teams. It didn't quite work like that this time because Dr. Benji actually won his last game. So both him and Zealand had a boost going into that, but I was lucky enough to play Chesnoid, who came into the quarterfinals off the back of 2 straight defeats. He's in poor form, his morale's taken a dip, and we capitalised on it. So I'm very happy to finish in 3rd place in the league. And we had a very solid start as well. We were top for a lot of it before the injuries really started to accumulate for us. You have something called the Lemon Wipe, formerly known as the Magic Sponge, but it's sponsored by KFC at the moment, so it's renamed to the Lemon Wipe, which basically allows you at 1 point during the entire tournament to have your injuries wiped and your fitness put back up to maximum. And there was a lot of call for me to use that Lemon Wipe when this little run of bad form happened, because this run of bad form, I don't know if we can still see the starting 11s. I don't think we can, which is a little bit of a shame. But it was this game against Work the Space where I only had 3 fit defenders. Jordan Henderson was playing at centre-back. Donnarumma finished the game playing up front. We only had 1 fit substitute, and that was Hadreski, the backup goalkeeper. And we went into that game with 12 players, and I was genuinely a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to field a squad, or if we picked up a red card or another yellow card or more injuries, we really would struggle to field a team. And by this stage, we already had enough points on the board to qualify. So my thoughts on it were, we've already accumulated, so we've got 3 points, 6 points, 7 points. We then lost to second yellow card. We always lose to him in the group stages. I don't know why. He's just got my number. But luckily he was knocked out before we faced him in the knockout rounds. This big win against Zealand was crucial because that put us onto 10 points going in this game against Work the Space. And if we didn't already have 10 points on the board, I might have used the Lemon Wipe then and made sure that we finished things off. But in the end, I just took a big defeat because we didn't need the points anymore. And I felt the Lemon Wipe would be more useful later in the tournament. And it was. So we took the defeat there and then played Clates, who we didn't manage to beat all night long. We drew with him in the group stages, drew with him twice in the final, and then beat him on penalties. Very evenly matched with Clates. And then managed to pick up a win at the end of the group stage to go into that knockout round with a little bit of form, with a victory under our belts and a decent points total, finishing on 14 points, only 2 points off the top of the league. If I'd have used my lemon wipe, we don't lose 6-1 to Jack, we win the league. But then I'm going into the knockout rounds with no lemon wipe, and I'm having to face a team who are in better form than Chesnoid was. So I think my way of playing the league on the Saturday is spot on. I do it every time. If you actually look at the historical data, I have the highest average points in the league stage in the history of the tournament. If you ignore people who've only played in like a couple, if you put a minimum on there, like if you've played in half the tournaments or more, no one's averaging more points than I am in the group stage. I'm never winning it because I don't need to win it. I need to finish second, third or fourth. And that's what we do every single time. We've never finished in the bottom half of the league table. We've also never won it. It's always second, third or fourth in 7 attempts. It's the place to finish in the Streamer Showdown group stages. So that took us into the Sunday night in good shape. You do get a fitness reset at the start of the knockout tournament anyway. Everybody does. So we go into Sunday night. We're in good form because we're off the back of that draw against Clates, who is the eventual league winner, and then a victory over Foxy. So we've started a little bit of an unbeaten run, which actually carried on for the rest of the night. It was a nice long unbeaten run off the once we got through that game against Work the Space. And we faced a team who were in poor form, and we capitalised on it immediately. Once you get into the knockout rounds, it's home and away ties. Home advantage is massive. All the group stages are played in neutral venues. But we went into the game against Chesnoid, and because we were the team in form and we now had a fit squad again, we went and beat him because with our team maximum fitness, pretty decent morale off the back of some good form, and him really struggling in the poor form, we were always gonna beat him. It was something of a foregone conclusion. He put up a little bit of a fight in the second leg where he got 3 goals against our 5, but our set pieces really came into their own in the knockout rounds. You can see Virgil van Dijk not really contributing much goal wise earlier on in the tournament. Once we got onto the Sunday night, he really started weighing in with the goals from the set pieces, both the long throws and the corners. Van Dijk scoring once in the first leg against Ches, scores again in the second leg there, and he also picked up a couple of goals in the semi-final against Tom, where John Stones also grabbed a goal as well. It was set piece central once we got onto the Sunday night, because that's one of the things I noticed on the Saturday. Although my set pieces were good, they weren't the best in the tournament. So I spent most of Sunday looking at what everyone else was doing and making sure we were doing the same things or better, so that we weren't at a disadvantage on the set pieces. And actually, because we then started doing the same things everyone else was doing, the most successful people with the set pieces, because we had Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold and these really good set piece players, us doing the same things as other people actually meant our set pieces were more successful than them, because we had players who were better at executing the set piece plays. So that made a big thing. But then, so we knock out Ches. We go into a semi-final against Tom FM. Tom very nearly won the league. If we go back and look at the league stage again, Tom missed out by 1 point. He also knocked Dr. Benji out in the quarterfinals. Tom FM came into this game in form and did cause us a problem. We were at home in the first leg because we finished below him in the league, and we really struggled. It ended up with a 1-1. It ended up finishing 1-1. As you can see, by this stage, Trent is injured again. He spent most of the group stage injured. He got injured again in the knockout rounds. But we have got Belotti back, so we're playing him. But we're really struggling. Tom just absolutely camped out, decided to park the bus, and frustrated me massively, knowing that he can just hit the ball forward on the break where he's got Cristiano Ronaldo and Luis Suarez. He played me like a fiddle in the first leg, and he's very unlucky about what happened next. I mean, he's unlucky. I wasn't lucky, though, because what happened next is I then played my lemon wipe, which I didn't really have much in the way of injuries. My only injured player at that point was Trent Alexander-Arnold, so we got him back, which is a bonus. But the other thing the lemon wipe does, as well as wiping your injuries, is it maxes out your fitness, your match fitness. You are fully, completely fit. So now it's me with a fully maxed out, fully fit team playing against Tom, who's just played Wednesday, Saturday, and had some big old battles against me and Dr. Benji. And that really cost him. because we were just the fitter, more energetic team. We actually switched, although we started with our 4-3-3 vertical tiki-taka system that we started every game with, fairly early on in this match. And you can see we ended up 2-0 down, and we were really against the ropes. In the second leg, we switched to a narrow diamond with a gegenpress, and us gegenpressing in the second half of this game, because we're fit against his tired team, ruined him. It turned the tournament on its head, and it's all thanks to not using that lemon wipe early on, saving it for when we really needed it, needing it tactically, knowing we might have to switch to the gegenpress in this game. Let's take the lemon wipe now. We switched to the gegenpress. We put Rashford up front alongside Belotti, I think, came off the bench to go up front with Rashford. We slotted Zaniolo into this position behind the two of them. Pedro came on and played there as well, I believe. And then the set pieces started to come into their own from there. Rashford gets a goal back almost immediately as soon as we start gegenpressing. But then that second half, we just camped out in his half. As you can see, we had 20 shots, an XG of 1.64, 13 corners. That's where these goals come from. 13 corners. We get in the long throws as well. You can see as soon as we started gegenpressing, we turned the game on its head. And when you're playing in a tournament where you're playing twice a week all the way through, you can't gegenpress all the way through. You've got 18-man squads. You can't push the players that hard all the way through because it will break them. But using it sparingly when it's needed and when you know your team are fitter than the opposition makes the difference. And that made the difference in the second half of the second leg of that semi-final. And that set up the final against Clates. And like I say, against Clates, we were just completely evenly matched. There is nothing separating the two of us. We drew in the group stages. We drew in the first leg of the final, although my word, do I feel hard done by it, because we dominated the game. We actually gegenpressed for a lot of the second half of this one as well, back with the diamond again in the second half. But once again, Clates, taking a leaf out of Tom's book, just parked the bus. He actually had, his tactic was called the FM Showdown Shutdown. It was designed to frustrate, and as you can see, it did frustrate. 16 corners this time, and still no breakthrough from a corner, but we did manage to get a goal from Marcus Rashford. But even when we went down to 10 men against Clates, we could not break down this back five. They were so well organised. Even with the XG that we had, we couldn't break them down. Getting into the second leg then, and it's the same old story. He just goes out to frustrate and hit on the counter-attack, where he's got Mbappe, Osimhen and Lukaku, who are all fantastic counter-attacking strikers. We beat him for XG again in the second leg, even at his place, only managing the 7 corners this time. But we managed to break the deadlock on the 70th minute, only for him to equalise almost immediately. And then we were all shocked because it went straight to penalties with no extra time. I was kind of already planning for what I was going to do in extra time, hoping to wheel out that gegenpress one more time and really capitalising on the fact that we might well be fitter than them. And it went to penalties. And from there, it's a coin flip. And we won the coin flip. We rode our luck a little bit. It's the second of our 5 showdowns we've won on a penalty shootout. Way back in season 1 of FM20, we beat Dr. Benji on a penalty shootout in the final as well. And so we ride our luck at times, but like they say, you make your own luck. And I think through drafting a better squad than everybody else, by that I mean a deeper squad where every player is interchangeable. Like I said in the preview video, these are players who can slot into all of these different formations. When we play the diamond, it's easily switchable. There you go. We've switched from a diamond, from the 4-3-3 to the diamond without having to change the personnel. Want to go to a 4-2-3-1 gegenpress? Fine, we'll do that. Again, we don't need to switch up the personnel. We can just shuffle the players around within the system that we've got. And once again, it works without having to change any players. That was a big strength. We drafted well. We drafted deep. We used our lemon wipe really, really tactically. And then we rode our luck when we had the opportunity and saw what everyone else was doing on the Saturday night with the long throws particularly, and fixed that for the Sunday night and ended up, using long throws just as well as they did. That game against Clates in the group stage, I remember getting very frustrated watching that because every single one of his highlights started with a long throw. It was that game against Clates that basically sent me down the rabbit hole on Sunday of fixing mine and improving them. And I spent all day Sunday doing that. And again, it all adds up. It all adds up to Kevy 5 times. We did it again. Bring on number 6, boys and girls. Keep an eye on the FM Streamer Showdown Twitter account because all the details of the next tournament and everything will be announced on there. It's going to be the last weekend of every month going forward, I think, over on Twitch. So make sure you're following the FM Streamer Showdown Twitter account, the FM Streamer Showdown Twitch account. All the details will be on there. And fingers crossed, before too long, I need to find a way to get an extra finger on my hand, and maybe 6 times might be on the way. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.